If he would know what you do. What is it? All of it was written many years after his death. Hosea, the 11th chapter, in the first verse, prophet Hosea says, when Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. What is it talking about here? When he called his son, an individual or a what? A what? Speak up. A nation. The nation was called a son. Okay, that's not enough. I need some more evidence. That's circumstantial evidence. No, it's not that. It's that you got to make sure you back your point up, my sister. Exodus, the 4th chapter, the 22nd and 23rd verse. Now, I don't agree with the story, but here's the principle I'm going to deal with. Because there's no other record of the Israelites, if anything, they were probably thrown out of Kemet. But that's another story. I'm not picking on anybody's belief. I'm talking about historical documentation. We don't have anything else for that, of their enslavement in Kemet. But let me put that aside for somebody who jumped on me. Stick to the point. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, I'm just using that as a term, what they're saying here. Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. So who is the firstborn son of God? According to the Old Testament. That Peter read, because Peter didn't read no New Testament. Peter read the Old Testament. So when he stood up and said, thou art the Christ, the Messiah, the Son of the living God, what was Peter saying? He knew what he was talking about. Do we know what he was talking about? We're talking about the representative of a nation. You don't have to accept that, but I thought I'd share it with you. I'm going to go to Dr. Williams, my limo, Dr. Chancellor Williams. As he writes in the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, that monumental work. 4, 5 times, at least, till the pages start falling out. And this is what he says, which gives us some insight on the ancient African concept of the Son of God, to put this in its proper context. The extent to which the political structure was based upon the Nam made Mazi society somewhat unique among African states. Since the Nabas of the 5 core states, these words will fall into place in a minute, claimed equality and were all fiercely independent in both spirit and action, the early contests were over what state should become the leader of them all and provide the Mago Naba, which was the King of Kings. Which was the what? The King of Kings. And where is he talking about now? And what part of Africa? Where the Mazi live? West Africa. West Africa, not the Maasai, but the Mazi. M-O-S-S-I, those fierce warriors, which were among the last to go down. So much so the European called them the warlike Mazi. Love them, appreciate them. We needed more. Mago Naba, King of Kings. Ouagadougou finally won, although it was not senior in the Nam line of descent. It won because it became the center of economic activity and therefore national prosperity. And because the Ouagadougou people outdid themselves in screaming praise and praise songs for their Naba, who was the ruler of the whole world, his dominions were boundless. He was God's son, and therefore sacred. So that's where the concept of Son of God comes from. That one who ruled over the nation by consent of the council of the people from the African constitutional system was therefore anointed and ordained of God and represented his nation before God. That's why he was called the Son of God. Do you see the mystery? It's not a mystery anymore. And you hook it up. You still with me? Y'all so quiet. Oh. Y'all want me to shut up and sit down? Number 5, Jesus was not a Christian. Oh, Lord help me. I better start ducking. Jesus worshiped and believed in the concept of a black God. How do you know that, Shaka? Because he, again, read the Old Testament. And the book of Ezekiel, the first chapter, the 26th to 28th verse, I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm going to tell you about it, and you can go read it for yourself. Ezekiel 1, 26 to 28. Ezekiel said he had a vision down by the river Shabar, and he saw a throne, a sapphire throne, which I talk about an African woman, the original guardian angel, represented the lap of mother of the universe, but that's something else. And on that sapphire throne, he saw the image of a man. He said he saw a being sit on the throne, not a spirit. The image not of a spirit, but of a man sitting on the throne. And he said he had the color like the color of amber. Amber is a golden brown color. Daniel said, well, look, Ezekiel, you're not the only one that had a vision, brother. I saw something too. You saw him look like the color of amber. When I saw him in the Daniel, the 7th chapter, and the 9th verse, he had hair like lamb's wool. Now, I don't know what that described to you, but that's the kind of image of a deity that Jesus believed in and worshiped in his day. And I like the way he puts it, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Jet black as he was. That's good enough for me. Historically speaking, Jesus did not found the Christian religion. He did not. If he came in here today and you asked him where a Christian, he would be perplexed. Because there was no such thing as Christianity. Even the New Testament tells you that when Jesus was on earth. They were first called Christians where? In Antioch. And that was about, 100 to 200 years after. Not even during the days of Nero. I don't care what the Covadas picture said. And all them other pictures, and the robe and the mission gladiator. They were not called Christians. Well, brother, if they weren't called Christians, what were they called? I'm going to tell you in a minute, but I'm going to read from Rogers again. Section Rates, Volume 1, page 282. That was a writing somebody. And he had to be a Pullman porter to make the money to do all that, what he was doing. What is now called the Christian religion, listen to this very carefully, has existed among the ancients. Has done what? And was not absent from the beginning of the human race until Christ came in the flesh, from which time the true religion, which existed already, had begun to be called Christian. Who was Rogers quoting? One of the founding fathers of what was to become Christianity, St. Augustine, the African bishop of Carthage, misnomer Carthage. That's what he said. This was before the rest of them got in there and really got to mess over it in the Nicene Council. That's another story. But now, what would Jesus call what he was doing? What was the name of what he was about? He wasn't out to found a new religion. He said very clearly, y'all, you heard it in Sunday school, I came not to change the law of the prophets, but to fulfill it. I ain't come to change nothing. Well, he said he was going to build this church. The word church, brothers and sisters, as recorded in the New Testament, comes from the Koine Greek, the common Greek, the word ecclesia, which means a place of gathering. And it was usually for political and municipal gatherings before the Romans took it and applied it to an ecclesiastical institution. Now, you don't have to just go look the word up. You don't have to take my word for it. It pays to know something about the language, don't it? Dr. Hugh J. Schoenfield, a European, however, he has something to offer here that I need, and I will pull from any source. In the Passover plot, page 199, the paperback edition, he says, the name borne by the earliest followers of Jesus, by the what? Was not Christian. They were called Nazareans, or Nazareans, and Jesus himself was known as the Nazarene. We used to also call him in the seminary the Naz. The Naz said. We used to quote the Naz. It is now widely agreed that this is a sectarian term, of which the Hebrew term is nostrum. The name essentially relates to a community whose members regarded themselves